Thank you for joining in again with us here with a quick word with Pastor Chad. As usual, my goal is just to give you a quick and simple word around 5 minutes or less, just to help you to do life. And, I was traveling a couple weeks back, and I saw something that kind of really resonated in my spirit. Uh, we know that trains are very, very heavy, and they weigh multiple tons, and it takes a lot of power to even move one part of the train. But I saw a man with a device, and it was called a boxcar mover. And I saw one man moving a entire boxcar by himself. And something spoke to my spirit about how that was possible. How could one man have enough power to move an entire boxcar? And something dropped in my spirit. He has leverage. He has leverage. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you real quick. You have leverage. You got leverage. And I want to use Matthew chapter 18, verse 18. And this is what it says. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Listen, saints of God, children of God, you need to know that you got leverage. Well, what is leverage? Leverage is a multiplier of strength. You've used leverage before without even knowing it. If you've ever used something to open a jar, that's leverage. If you've ever swung an axe, that's leverage. If you've ever used a shovel, that's leverage. If you ever rode on a seesaw, that's leverage. And what leverage does is it allows a person to lift multiple times their strength because of the fulcrum that bears the weight. Now, a lever or a leverage is a device that connects to the problem. And that device connects to the problem, and the other end of the handle connects to the power source. And what I need you to know is when I saw that man moving that boxcar, I saw that one end of his device was connected to the problem, the boxcar. But the other end of the device, the handle, was connected to him. And as he pushed down on that lever, it caused a lifting on the other end. And I want you to know that the Word of God tells us that God has given us leverage, and the other end of that handle on our problems reaches all the way to heaven. And as we push down, God causes a lifting of our problems. We can lift heavy burdens with leverage. We can move the impossible with leverage. And God said, whatever you bind on earth, I will bind it in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth, I will loose it in heaven. In other words, he says, I'm going to mirror your motion and multiply your power, because whenever you put your hand to do something, I'm going to cause a leveraged effect or lever effect that your problem will be able to be lifted. Why? Because the other end of your handle is in heaven. He said, whatever you bind on earth is going to be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth. In other words, what you're trying to do, you're right here at the problem. You're right here in the situation. But as you allow God to give you leverage in your life, that you can move things that just simply under your own strength you could not move on your own. But because God has given you leverage, because whatever you do on earth, he's going to mirror it in the cosmos, mirror it in the atmosphere, mirror it in heaven. And when you push down, it's going to cause a lifting effect on your problem because your other end of your handle is in heaven. Whenever you face something, you're closer to the problem sometimes. But God said, I'm going to second your motion. Whatever you bind on earth is going to be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. You need to know, children of God, you need to know, believers, that you got leverage, you got authority, you got power, you got the ability to speak things that be not as though they were. God has given you leverage. And you need to know that as you go out through the day, that God has given you leverage.